Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jenny. I'm an intuitive astrologer. I use Western tropical whole sign astrology to help you embrace the poetry of the planets. I love coaching with the cosmos. I strongly feel like the planets are our spirit guides and they are guiding us toward our best lives. And they give us warnings without fear, but they let us know what to expect. And that's exactly what I am trying to do with these moon reports. I'm so sorry I didn't make the last one. I was hopeful I would, but I was just in Bali, Indonesia. Okay. I just went to heaven on earth and I met the most magical people there and I absolutely loved it. And yes, I will be returning one day. Already in chats about that. Would love to do workshops and teach astrology and all the things over there. But yes, what a lot of jet lag that was. So I didn't get the last moon report. I'm so sorry about that. But here we are. We are going to talk today about the full moon in Taurus. It's hitting on November 15th, 24 degrees Taurus. So first off, I'm just going to give you a bit of an astrology forecast on what this looks like. There is a full moon in Taurus every year. That's nothing new, but this each year you have different transits and you have different conjunctions and oppositions. And so you're able to dig apart what this particular full moon in Taurus is all about. So I'm going to do that first. And then I'm going to walk you through what it will look like for you wherever Taurus falls in your natal birth chart. So follow along. Let's first talk about this. Okay. Full moon Taurus. First and foremost, the moon loves to be in Taurus. It's its second favorite place to be. It belongs in Cancer. So congratulations for those of you that have a Cancer moon in your natal placement. Second best place for the moon to be is Taurus. And I always say where it belongs is Cancer. So that's its home. But the second home is almost the better home. So it's like the first home is your home. You have the best beds, the best linens, the best kitchen, all that jazz. But the second home is like the cabin. It's like the cottage. And it's almost better, right? Like you can't wait to get to the cabin. Sure, the beds aren't as good. The linens are old from grandma's closet, but it's almost better. It's almost better being at the second home for those of us who have ever had the opportunity to go to a cabin. So that's how I like to explain how it is in it when it's in its home placement of Cancer. Yes, it is. The moon is the strongest there, but the second strongest place for the moon is Taurus. So let's talk about a Taurus moon. What does it mean? Oh, Taurus, we love you. It's the best foods and the best drinks and the softest fabrics. It's the best things in life. It's the bougie lifestyle. Okay. Taurus knows how to make money. Taurus knows how to spend money. Taurus is a money expert. Okay. So it's all things bougie. You need a lot of money when you're a Taurus. When you have strong Taurus in your chart, you need to be making money because you like bougie things. So if I'm speaking to your soul right now and you have been avoiding your Taurus placement, or maybe you have a Taurus stellium, maybe you don't even have a Taurus sun, but you look at your chart and you've got a stellium, so three or more planets in your Taurus house, you're pretty Taurus. And so I would highly recommend for you to embrace your bougie lifestyle. So, okay, the moon is bougie in Taurus. We have established that, okay? And it's all about the best things in life, but it's also very stabilizing when the moon is in Taurus. It's a very stabilizing energy, which is another great thing about Taurus. Is sure they like to spend their money, but they like stability too. And so normally a moon in Taurus is an extremely stabilizing energy. However, this particular full moon on November the 15th, maybe not so much. Maybe let's talk about all the things about why this might not be the most stable Taurus full moon in the history of all the Taurus full moons. Okay. I'm laughing not because it's funny, it's a nervous laughter that's coming from me because of what's going on at the time of this full moon in Taurus. Again, not trying to be fear-based. I'm just delivering the news to you all so that you can prepare. You could prepare yourselves for what's coming on a mundane level. That means like when you look at the world, the collective, the moon represents the people, okay? And so when you have a Taurus full moon conjunct right next door to Uranus, so the full moon's at 24 degrees of Taurus and Uranus is 25 degrees of Taurus. So we're talking 1 degree away. That's happening, okay? That is happening at the full moon on the 15th. And Uranus is the great liberator. So that sounds great, right? To be liberated. Who doesn't want to be liberated? However, liberation often comes with shock and surprise. Okay, it's like the husband serving the wife the divorce papers. In the end, she will also be liberated from him. But boy, what a shock and surprise that is to be handed over the divorce papers. And at first, it doesn't feel so liberating, does it? Do keep that in mind, though, please. Uranus is the great liberator. And when you do get liberated, everybody gets liberated, right? Just keep that in mind, please, because what's coming might be extremely shocking and surprising with Uranus there. But it's not just Uranus to blame. We've also got a fixed star called Algol at 26 degrees. So the new full moon's at 24, Uranus is at 25, Algol's at 26. This is 1 degree away. Algol, the fixed star, is 26 degrees of Taurus. Let's just talk about the mythology of Algol for a hot minute, please. Okay. Again, this is nervous laughter coming from an astrologer who's really looked into this chart, and I'm just trying to prepare you as you best can be for this shocking full moon. Full moons are already shocking. We all know that hospitals are full on full moons and people go crazy and there's road rage and just to be careful. But Algol, the fixed star at 26 degrees of Taurus, right by this full moon and Uranus, the great liberator, the great shocker, Algol. Okay, let's talk about the myth of Algol. It's all about losing your head. So yes, we're talking about Medusa, with the snakes, right? And so she turns people to stone. Anyone that sees the snake lady, they turn to stone, right? Well, Perseus was the great hero because what he did is Perseus put up a mirror and he saved the day because she had to see what she was putting out there. Medusa had to look at herself in the mirror. This is what you're putting out there. So who's losing whose head? Did Perseus lose his head? No, he did not. Okay, this is how he saved himself. This is such a lesson. This is all mythology, but such a lesson for all of us. Are you going to lose your head this full moon on the November the 15th? Are you going to go ahead and lose your head? If someone is committed to deeply misunderstanding you, if someone is committed to spreading hate and gossip about you, and they treat you a certain way, are you going to go ahead and lose your head and freeze? Or are you going to hold up that mirror and say, okay, I can see that you are committed to spreading hate about me. I can see that you are very committed to deeply misunderstanding me, and you're going to get more of that. That's what's going to come your way when I hold up the mirror. I'm going to pull a Perseus on your asses, okay? Let's all pull a Perseus and not feed the hate coming toward you, because if you feed, the energy goes where attention goes. If you feed that hate toward the Medusa with the snakes, and then she will freeze you. And when someone says all these awful things about you, if you freeze, well, she's won then, right? Don't lose your head. Do not participate in well, no, no, this is really what I meant to say. No, 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 you misunderstand me. That's one way of taking this full moon, and there will be a lot of fighting, and it will be shocking. And people might shock you with what they think about you and what they're saying about you. People might shock you, but I encourage all of you to hold that mirror up And all you got to do is look at your own reflection. You don't need to make them here. You got to look at this, and I'm going to tell you all the reasons why you got to look at your reflection. All you've got to do is take that mirror that Perseus saved his life with and just look at yourself and know who you are. Nobody can define you. Nobody's gossip is correct. Nobody that is committed to misunderstanding you is correct. You are correct, okay, about yourself. And don't let anyone define you. I would highly encourage you, for those of you that are entangled in something, whether it's family or a spouse or a friend or a business partner, someone that is deeply committed to spreading hate about you. I highly encourage you to hold up the mirror to yourself and know who you are. Don't feed into it. Don't lose your head. Medusa lost her head. This is all about the fixed star Algol being right here on this full moon with Uranus there. Shocking. You might be shocked out of your, maybe you didn't even know that this person felt this way about you, or the gossip had spread to the whole world or whatever. But you need to be reminded not to lose your head, figuratively, literally. Don't lose your head. Don't fight back. And don't lose what you know is true within you. You know who you are. You are a spirit having a human experience. And if someone has decided to be committed to hating you, then that will become their reality. And they will find tons of evidence to hate you, to keep spreading hate about you. And so it might not just even be personal, it might be about your business, right? It might be something about your children, it might be something about your family. To put anything in that box. And if somebody is committed to spreading hate and going down that road, you do not need to lose your head and follow along. So I've gone on quite a tangent here about what this full moon's bringing. Don't mean to scare anyone, but on a personal level, a lot of you might be feeling this and experiencing this with people that are just hell-bent, if you will, on proving you wrong, whether it's at the workplace, it's in your family, it's in your friendship group, a business partner, whatever it is. They have made up their mind about you, and let them. Just let them, and don't lose your head. Don't pull a Medusa. Pull a Perseus, hold up that mirror, know who you are, do mirror work. I encourage you to do a lot of mirror work in my book, my shadow work book. My shadow work book really helps you move into this energy of knowing yourself, not accepting the past programming as spewed by anyone or by even within your own subconscious, and stopping that loop, that you're on, so that you can rewire your brain. So definitely check out my shadow work and astrology book. The link is good. You'll find it in the description. Okay, also there's a trine to Pluto at 29 Cap. This is the final Pluto story in Capricorn, and it's leaving Capricorn for good in this lifetime, because Pluto moves so small. We will never experience Pluto in Capricorn ever again. It is not retrograding back. This is it. November 19th, it is moving into Aquarius once and for all. New Earth, age of Aquarius, you name it, here it comes, okay? On November, so right after this full moon, there's going to be a big shock on November 15th. 4 days later, age of Aquarius, Pluto into Aquarius, new Earth. So how are you? See, isn't this beautiful how the cosmos are always coaching us, always encouraging us to get to the next level, and it's often difficult. Spiritual awakenings often are uncomfortable. Spiritual awakenings, dark nights of the soul, they often include people deeply misunderstanding you, and you having to deal with all of the programming that you once believed. You once believed what the people said. You once believed all the hate that has been said in your name. And so it's all about that rewiring, remembering who you are. Their opinion of you is none of your business. And don't you just love, quote, love how this full moon, with all of its shocks and surprises and those last little lessons, will help us usher in Pluto going into Aquarius just 4 days later, because something really shocking might come up for you in your Taurus house place. And I'm going to walk you through that after this forecast here, so don't worry about that. But this is a trine to Pluto. This full moon does trine Pluto. Trine is usually a nicer feeling. This is trining. This is really helping us finish up that last Pluto in Capricorn lesson. Go back to my I did a full report on Pluto and Capricorn. What are the lessons from Pluto and Capricorn? Go back and watch that video, but I will give you a hot tip right now. It's that thing that you are so done with. Oh, you are done. This has been something you've been dealing with since 2008, and you are done. You are so done that you need another word for over. It is the Ross and Rachel breakup. When Ross or Rachel, and I cannot remember which one, said, "It is so over that you need a new word for over." That is how serious this Pluto and Capricorn lesson is for all of us. You are so done with this Pluto in Capricorn lesson. You got 4 days after this full moon, and you might really need to just say, it's over. It is now over. I learned so much. So you're probably going, oh my God, I didn't watch that video. Go back, watch the video, because I give out, I think it's 7 lessons from Pluto and Capricorn, and they're good ones. They're real good. They're real good. And then I take you through the house placement of where Capricorn is in your house. And boy, oh boy, are you done. You are so done. So with this trine from Pluto and Capricorn at 29 degrees, all involved with this full moon on November 15th, with a big shock, a big surprise, the Medusa losing your head situation. Stand up for yourself if you have to, but don't lose your head. Literally, figuratively, don't lose your head. If somebody really, really, truly is deeply committed to hating you and misunderstanding you, let them. Let them. That says way more about them, and it says nothing about you. And so to lose your head with somebody who does not understand, and it might be somebody that's holding a huge grudge, or it might be somebody that is caught in traffic. He's a perfect stranger to you, but he loses his head on you because you accidentally forgot to put on your blinker or something. And if that person who's a complete stranger hits into your world some way, somehow around this full moon, it doesn't have to be the day, it doesn't have to be November 15th, but around the day of the full moon, let them. Let them. Apologize if need be, move on. And it doesn't have to become a part of your energetic field, right? So it's the person that's been holding this grudge and spreading all this hate and rumor and committed to hating you, them, the perfect stranger that cuts you off in traffic or that you cut off in traffic and hates you and loses their head, let them. It's everyone. It's everyone involved at this full moon in Taurus. It's going to shake up a lot of people. It's almost like a last lesson. Get your poop in a group, because Pluto's moving into Aquarius 4 days after this full moon. Get your poop in a group, because we're entering new territory here. We don't know. We had little lessons from Pluto going back and forth into Aquarius a couple of times. And what we saw when Pluto went into Aquarius was a massive rise in AI. Okay. That's what we saw. That's what we saw collectively. Now, in your own chart, you can go into where Aquarius is and see. But what we saw is whole new world stuff. AI boomed. Like, it's like we'd heard about AI. But then when Pluto just dipped quickly into Aquarius, well, we saw that AI will be taking over. So what is your relationship with the AI? Have you thought about it yet? I highly recommend that you do. I highly recommend that you think about it and give it some deep meditation. So we know for sure that's going to happen because it showed us that on a grand scale. But I feel like this full moon on the 15th with Taurus conjunct Uranus, trine Pluto, conjunct Algol. Wow. Big shocks and big opportunities to wake the friggin' up. Wake up. If you are still caught in a commitment to hate, if you are still caught in a commitment to deeply misunderstand, if you are still caught in closing off your mind, which then means closing off your heart to something, to someone, to a new way of life, to an opportunity that could usher you the life of your dreams. You're just like, I'm not listening. La 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 la. No, 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 no. I hate them. This I hate it all. Hate, hate, hate. Spreading gossip, 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 listening to gossip, spreading the gossip. If you're still stuck there, oh boy, is this full moon going to give you a bit of a awakening. Oh boy. Oh boy. So blessings to you all at the time of this full moon. For those of us who have been shocked and liberated and shocked and liberated again, and then liberated and shocked again, and then all of the dark nights of the soul, and then like asking for guidance from our angels and guide. And for those of us who've been doing the work and saying to the universe, okay, wowzers, this has been a lot. And okay, but you know what? I did ask for a spiritual awakening. I did ask for truth. I did ask for authenticity. And you've been doing things like me, like a major thing I did a few years ago was I quit gossiping. And that changed everything for me. So many of my relationships completely changed. Many of them ended because once you start taking radical responsibility for yourself, then it just demands that you attract people just like that. And as it turns out, I wasn't hanging around a lot of people that were living authentically. So it's things like that. It's not easy. That was not easy to completely revamp my social circle. Mm-mm. So that's just one example for you. So on a mundane level, that means the collective with Taurus, conjunct Uranus and Algol, maybe something like an earthquake, quaking the earth because Taurus is the earth. It's Mother Gaia, and Uranus definitely represents earthquakes. The other thing, though, I do want to say on a mundane level, as well as to take into account in your own personal natal birth chart, is Saturn is turning direct at 12 degrees Pisces on the same day of this full moon. So November 15th, Saturn's stationing direct. So whenever a planet stations retrograde or direct, it's like you feel it more, it's more announced. And Saturn, like Saturn again, is not super duper cozy, wozy feelings. Uranus isn't, Pluto isn't, Algol isn't. Even though, as I started this whole video saying how much the moon loves to be in Taurus and isn't it bougie and lovely? But then you got Uranus and Pluto and Algol, and now Saturn stations direct the same day as this full moon. So yeah, Saturn. Yeah, Saturn, they all say it. If you can master Saturn in your birth chart, you can master your life. But it's not easy. It rules time, it rules restrictions, it rules Capricorn. And planet Pluto's been going through Capricorn. We've been feeling, I'm getting itchy nose syndrome here too. And so we know how Saturn feels because we've all been having big Capricorn lessons. And Saturn, when you do the hard work, which is what I was just talking about, like I literally gave up gossiping, and that's hard work when you are so programmed. That's what you do in your social circles. You get together with your girlfriends, if you're lucky enough to see them 3 times in a year, or maybe once a month if you're super lucky, if you live in the same city. And often that's what you do is you get together and you gossip. And so I started to notice, no. And so it takes hard work to stop that, to put up boundaries. Saturn's all about boundaries. Put up boundaries with friends. A lot of friends got extremely offended as soon as I put up boundaries. And wouldn't you know it, the friendship ends. As soon as a boundary goes up, Saturn rules boundaries, Saturn rules restrictions. Saturn rules time, slows everything down. So again, it doesn't sound cozy wozy, happy butterflies and rainbows, does it? This full moon at Taurus, 24 degrees on November 15th. Do keep in mind it's a strong placement for the moon. Taurus is strong and the moon is strong in Taurus. And we can all anchor that in if we're willing to accept the shock, accept the surprise, not lose our heads, limit, restrict, put up boundaries if need be. So that is a way of summarizing it for the mundane level as well as for your own natal birth chart. It's a doozy. I'm not good. Sometimes I come on these moon reports and I say, oh my gosh, it's magical energy, manifestation. Let's talk about the happy feel. Okay, sometimes I do come on, and because that's what the astrology is telling me in regards to this forecast of the moon. This particular full moon is going to be really shocking for those who are unwilling to take radical responsibility and put up boundaries. That I can say just looking at these placements here, I can say for the people who have been so unwilling to look at their own stuff and blaming everybody else, gossip, 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 blame, 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 playing the blame game. I always say when you point your finger at someone and blame them, look, there's three pointing back, there's three fingers pointing back. And isn't that the truth? It's like it's not a black and white situation here. There's always gray. There's always gray in the middle. That's where the truth is. That's the beautiful thing about truth. There's one side of a story, there's another side of a story, and the truth somewhere in the middle. Take that as a metaphor, as inspiration at the time of this full moon on November 15th. And now we're going to dig into your natal birth chart, how you can really bring this message in closer. Again, I always feel like the planets are our spirit guides, and we can get information, we can get tips, we can get advice from all of them. Uranus being the great liberator, Pluto kills off that which is no longer serving us. Algol encourages us not to lose our head, but it warns us you will lose your head if you match their energy. Saturn reminds us put up the boundary because you need to limit yourself. You need to stop that behavior, and then you will get that back in return. So there are spirit guides, aren't they? It's not easy. Those of us who have been through spiritual awakenings, those of us who have had dark nights of the soul more than once, we know it's not easy. So I am compassionate. I am not giving you warnings, but I'm telling you what the astrology is saying so that you're prepared, so that you can prepare yourself. So let's talk about it. Wherever Taurus is in your natal birth chart, you can prepare yourself and you can embrace the shock, the boundary, the knowing I have to take a step back first, respond, not react, and not lose my head. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Taurus rules your first house. And so if Taurus rules your first house, what you need to know is that your entire life could be affected by this full moon, and it probably will. It could be your body, it could be your job, it could be an identity issue, it could be your whole anything to do with your life, anything to do with your life when Taurus rules your first house. Okay, so my advice to you is take the advice, take the guidance from the planets, the poetry of the planets. Be coachable, learn, try to open up your mind, because when your mind is open, your heart is open, okay? Because something might really shock you and it might change your whole life. When Taurus rules your first house, it could affect anything. Of course, it could be your head, something you might have like a terrible headache, something like that. Maybe you're going to go get your hair done and you asked for blonde hair and it's purple. It's stuff like that too. I mean, it might not be life changing, but it might be something like it's really shocking. And just don't lose your head. Don't pull a Medusa and bring out the snakes and scare everyone and then blah, blah, blah and fight, fight, fight. Don't lose your head. Put the mirror up in front of yourself. Take radical responsibility for yourself. Use this energy from Saturn stationing direct on the same day. Put up a boundary if need be, but fall within the restrictions and know that whatever's happening, if it's shocking, if it's surprising, first of all, I have compassion for you if something huge happens in your life, but know that it is meant to liberate you because Uranus is there shocking and surprising the heck right out of you and your whole darn life. But Uranus seeks to liberate. Keep that in mind. You're not feeling the liberation at the moment. It's like I said earlier, when the husband surprises the wife with the divorce papers, she's not feeling liberated in that moment, is she? But eventually, signing those divorce papers will liberate her, although it was shocking and surprising at first. So I'm not here to say you're gonna get a divorce. I'm not here to say all those things, but just to prepare yourself. Something shocking might come. It's here to liberate you in the end. You might need to put up some boundaries. And I do encourage you not to lose your head like Algol. Okay, this is your full moon, Taurus. So I'm just gonna take a little sip for that. If Taurus rules your first house, then you're gonna be feeling it. And on the other hand, you might be completely shocked. You'll get a new workout program, and it's gonna liberate your life because you're gonna lose all those pounds you've been trying. Let's let's remember that no matter what it is, and there might be hard to do, it might be Saturn driven, it might require you to quit sugar or something, okay? It will seek to liberate you. So something might shock you and surprise you. Maybe you have been doing some kind of a cleanse and the culmination, you're halfway through it or something, you will be shocked to see this will liberate me. So try not to lose your head, be open to boundaries and limitations, and know that it will liberate you. So, Taurus, I hope that served you, and happy full moon. If Taurus rules your second house, that is your worthiness for sure. It is your self-worth, but it is also the money that you make, that you put into your bank account because you earned it. It's the money you earned. So something shocking and surprising might happen regarding your self-worth, your worthiness, the money in your bank, the money that you make, something shocking. And, top of my head, you might lose your job. It's a maybe. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but, or something like someone is going to say something that really rocks you to the core regarding your self-worth. Maybe someone says something so unbelievable about the weight that you've gained, and it's not like you don't know you've gained the weight, okay? But somebody says something about how you have gained weight straight to your face or something like that, and it's just shocking. You can't even believe that this person said this thing to you. And I'm talking about your weight just because this is all about self-worth. This is your worthiness. This is the money you make in your account. So it might have a money issue, it might have a self-worth issue. And whatever it is that's said, that happens, do know, please do know that it is shocking and surprising perhaps, but it is meant to liberate you. Uranus always seeks to liberate. There might need to be boundaries. If someone says something that is so inappropriate, don't lose your head. Algol is going to be encouraging you to lose your head, but Algol's also encouraging you on the same coin, the other side of the coin, to not lose your head and to hold the mirror up to yourself. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. Nobody can define you. Doesn't matter what they've said, what they've done. Nobody can define you. Nobody knows your worth. You know your worth. So that's Taurus in the second house. If Taurus falls in your second, does Taurus fall into your third house? The third house, I always say, is the junk drawer. It's so many things, but mostly it's your communication style. It's the way you speak, the way you write. It's also things like education, it's siblings, it's cousins, it's friends that feel like siblings. It's your transportation. So car, bike, scooter. It's short distance travel. It's traveling. So again, it's a lot of things, and something shocking might happen. Like for instance, your car doesn't start. Something happens to your car. That trip that you planned that's just 2 hours away gets canceled. Your cousin, something happens to your cousin. You have a fight with your sister. It's neighbors, it's neighborhood stuff too. I forgot to say. Something shocking might happen with a neighbor. All those things I said, third house stuff, you can even Google it. What does the third house in astrology? You'll see it's a lot of things. The third house is a lot of things. If it's one thing, it's your communication, the way you speak, what you're writing about, and the way that you think. So it could be a major mindset shift regarding those things, your sister, just keep in mind, don't lose your head. Okay, it's going to be shocking, maybe. It might really surprise you what they say, what they do, what happens to them, what happens to your car. It might be a real shock because you had all the eggs in one basket to travel to that place 2 hours away to take that trip. But for whatever reason, it's not happening. It didn't happen. There's a delay. Da, 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 da. Just know that it's meant to liberate you. It's for the greatest good for all. Even if they say something awful, even if you have a terrible fight with your sister, da 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 da, even if this thing happens with your neighbor or in your neighborhood, do know that Saturn's stationing direct. So it's all about boundaries. It's all about accepting the limitations. Like, okay, I can't do that. I simply can't do that. I'm going to have to reschedule. Just know that Saturn's in play on the time of this full moon. So just to keep that in mind. And if you need to put up a boundary, you need to, but do listen to Algol. Don't lose your head. Put the mirror up in front of yourself. Take radical responsibility for yourself and how you participated or didn't participate. Take responsibility for yourself. Stop the gossip. Third house is gossip. Again, because it's how you speak, what you're talking about. Take responsibility. Quit the gossiping. I encourage you. I've been talking about how I did that. I've got my South Node in Gemini, and Gemini rules the third, so that's why I'm talking about that. And so it's like I've done that before in past lives, and I've learned in this life. Like I really have to watch what I'm saying because what I'm saying is what I'm putting out there in the universe. And I want what I put out back. I know that's what happens, whether you want it to or not. If you keep spreading hate, you're going to get that back. It's just the way it works, right? So I learned that, and boy, did I ever. And the people that have come back now that I watch what I say, now that I mean what I do, now that I am very authentic, I also have authentic people in my life. So take all of that into consideration if Taurus rules your third house. Okay, does Taurus rule your fourth house? This is an angular house. The angulars are always, so I went on and on and on about if Taurus rules your first. So that's an angular house. Another angular is the seventh. Another angular is the fourth and the 10th. Whenever a moon hits those angulars, you feel it. So you're feeling it, Taurus. If Taurus is in your fourth, you're feeling it. The fourth house is your family, mother, mother wounds, motherhood lineage. It's also your house, your property. So it's all things mummy issues. It's all things house issues, real estate, property. So yeah, something shocking might happen regarding your house. You might get a roof leaking. Saturn's in Pisces, and Pisces rules water, and Saturn might have to come down and say, you need to get a new roof. You need to have a boundary up on your roof. You might have like something happen to your house that Saturn comes in hard and says you need to make a change. You got to limit yourself here for whatever reason. Maybe you haven't been listening to the squeaks in the floor, and the next thing you know, you got a big hole in the floor. Saturn says, okay, so you did try to avoid that, but now you've got to put up the boundary. You've got to listen to the limitations. Also could do with your family. Some stuff with your family, maybe mom issues, maybe your mom, but family stuff, there might need to be some boundaries up. Something shocking might happen, something surprising from Uranus. It is seeking to liberate you. Do keep that in mind. Don't lose your head. Don't do the Algol thing. Don't do the Medusa, being all scary with the snakes and freezing everyone. That's like freeze and fawn, like you coming out just like losing your head, and then that just scares everyone. People are just like, they don't even know how to react to you because you're just so aggressive, right? Don't do that part of Algol, but listen to Algol and know, okay, I'm not going to lose my head here. Nobody triggers you more than family. Nobody. So you might be getting triggered. You might be getting triggered by your family. Something might happen to your house or property, and you might have to move. Maybe you'll get an eviction notice, maybe, stuff like that. And it hits angular houses a little bit more. So, like first, fourth, seventh, 10th. That's why I'm saying it to you like that. So, let me know what happens for you. Is it in your fifth? Is Taurus in your fifth house? This is the fun house. So, children, you might get pregnant. Shock, surprise. If Taurus rules your fifth, yes, you might find out that you have a baby coming along, or someone in your family, like your children, one of your children is pregnant. Oh my God, because this is fifth house. Fifth house is all about kids. So yeah, a shocking and surprising thing regarding fifth. You might have the baby. Maybe you are expecting, and the baby was coming in 2, 3 weeks. Oh, baby might be coming now. Okay, so definitely children. Your kids might do something shocking and surprising. And just know that don't lose your head. Don't lose your head when it comes to dealing with your kids. Something might be happening. But Saturn going direct on that same day is encouraging all of, okay, you might need to put a boundary with your children. So I'm talking a lot about kids because the fifth house is definitely about children, but fifth house is also creative projects, art, and whatever creative is to you. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to draw a painting. Creative projects is like knitting. Creative projects is being creative, is being out in nature and going for a nature hike, and then ding, you get a creative idea. You know what to do with your business. You know how to go forward in a new creative way. So it might be shocking what you receive as like, oh, I know what I need to do. I need to fill in the blank. You'll get that amazing, shocking download. It could be something like that. But just to summarize it up, the fifth house is fun. It is children. It is creative. So something shocking and surprising that is meant to liberate you in the end might come up. Don't lose your head. If it's a bad surprise, don't lose your head. Put the mirror up. Take radical responsibility for yourself. Blame no one, including yourself. And just take the advice that you are remembering who you are, and you might need to be creative about how you step forward into this new earth that is arriving days after this full moon, because November 15th is the full moon, and then November 19th, Pluto goes into Aquarius, ushering up an entire new world. So you might have a creative download on how to embrace AI into your business, that will be liberating for all. So it might be something to do with that, because we're going into Pluto going into Aquarius just days after this full moon. So just keep that in mind. Don't lose your head. Know that whatever happens is meant to liberate, and put up boundaries and use restrictions if need be. Okay. Does Taurus rule your sixth? If so, that's your health house. So something shocking. You might have a health scare. You might, and I'm not trying to scare you, okay? But you could put your back out, You could, something could happen, shocking you. You didn't realize that this was happening, or maybe there was an ache and pain for the last few weeks, but you, whatever. And then finally it happened. You finally put your back out. It's something like this. Of course, it could be more serious than putting your back out. But something shocking and surprising might happen regarding your health. You might even get the offer to do some kind of a cleanse, and it'll be very restrictive because Saturn's stationing direct on the same day of this full moon. And there might be all these restrictions like no sugar, no wheat, blah, 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 blah. But do know that if it's calling to you, then Uranus is involved in this, seeking to liberate you. It might be just what you need. You might also get an offer to join a gym, and it's a totally different kind of workout than you've ever done. Or you might learn how to finally use the gym equipment. You've been there for years, and you finally learn how to use it, and it's gonna liberate you now that you know how to use the equipment properly. All things health, and what you do on a daily basis. The sixth house, right? It's like the sixth house is super boring. I always say the fifth house is fun, fun, fun. Next house over in the sixth, boring. It's like what you do every single day to better yourself. So it's like punching the clock. It's like I just got to go do the workout again and again. And I just have to do the celery juice again and again. And it's so boring. And you just have to do it. And you will those little habits that you do every day that seem so boring are sincerely the most powerful steps that you can do. So yes, the sixth house is boring, but it is there to help you in your life and to understand how to human. And it's those everyday things that you do. That's how we human. Because again, we are just spirits having a human experience here, and we don't know how to human. So if you follow your sixth house, you'll know how to human. And with Saturn turning direct on the same day, there might be some serious limitations that you need to adhere to. You need to realize, yes, I do need to quit that sugar. Yes, I do need to quit doing that. And yes, I should be doing this every day. I need to work on my core every single day. And yes, that is boring, but I have to do it. Whatever you do, don't lose your head. So this is also a workhouse, and it's where you go every day. So if you have a desk job, if you go to the office every day, don't lose your head with a employee, don't. Or with a colleague, don't lose your head. Your colleague, that one that's been bothering you so bad and has those opinions and believes in this thing, let them. Maybe they have a major vendetta against you. They are committed to deeply misunderstanding you. Let them. Don't lose your head. This full moon has losing your head energy. So I'm encouraging all of you to remember who you are. If Taurus is in your fifth, do the damn thing every single day. Just do it. And you will be liberated. Does Taurus rule your seventh? That means you're Scorpio rising like me. So something shocking and surprising might happen to your partner, your husband, your wife, your love. Something might happen to them. Something might happen with them. Something might happen with your business partner, your best friend, your closest companion. And it might happen to them or with them. And it might be super shocking. And maybe it's been building for a while and you know that this thing happened, and you have to put up the boundary. Saturn's encouraging you to put up the boundary. Don't lose your head. There's no need to go into the big fight, and you need to hear my side of the story, right? Whether this is your husband, your business partner, your best friend, whatever it is, right? They don't need to know. They're committed to their story, and their story might be completely wrong about you. Let them, okay? Don't lose your head. Algol. So many people are going to be losing their head. They didn't watch this video, okay? So many people are going to be losing their head at the time of this full moon with all the shocks and surprises and the Pluto last minute lessons and oh my God, and Saturn stationing direct. And so many people are going to be losing their head, and just let them. And then encourage them to watch the rest of my YouTube videos. No, just kidding. So it's okay. It's okay. And just accept that there might need to be a boundary set without losing your head. And there might need to be a mirror put up in front of your face to take radical responsibility for your part in this. Because if it's with a partner and the seventh house rules partners, it means this didn't just come out of thin air. This takes two to tango. Ever heard that one? So take radical responsibility, put up boundaries if need be, don't lose your head, and just know that Uranus seeks to liberate you. You will be liberated if you can get through this lesson, and I know you can. Does Taurus rule your eighth? The eighth house. This is the death rebirth house. This is all the things I've been talking about since the beginning of this video. It's like this is the phoenix rising from the ashes house. This is the butterfly. You've now become a butterfly. You can't even go back to the caterpillar, even if you wanted to. This is the dark night of the soul house placement. I drop. So you've been through it, Taurus, and you probably already know what this is all about. It's probably not going to shock you unless it does, and that's okay if it does. It's okay. With this trine to Pluto and Capricorn, you know what? Like, you are so done. You are so done with the story. You are not going to lose your head like Algol. You are going like Medusa did. No, no, no. And you're not going to be like, and then freezing everyone because you're so scary in the way that you deliver your message. No, you're going to be like Perseus and you're going to put a mirror up and you're going to take responsibility for yourself. Because when Taurus is in the eighth, this is your spiritual awakening house. This is the phoenix rising from the ashes house. You have been to rock bottom. This is dark night of the soul. You have been there. So you know that this energy is hard. You already know, but it is seeking to liberate you, and you are willing to put in some boundaries. And it might have to do with money, because eighth house is also money stuff. And it's like the stuff that the money you have with your spouse, or like your taxes or your savings, or it's like an inheritance. And so, not trying to scare anyone, but you might get some inheritance and it might really surprise you, because somebody had to die. I'm sorry. Oh God, I said it. I'm sorry. But the eighth house is the death house, figuratively, literally, all the things. But it is all those little deaths in life too. So not trying to scare anyone. It is all those little deaths. I mean, who I was even last month, let alone last decade, is a totally different person. That is if you are listening to your eighth house properly, right? And so Taurus rules your eighth. And so you know how to use this Taurus grounding energy. Taurus is so grounding, and you have to ground that in. If Taurus rules your eighth house, this is your lesson your whole life, is grounding in all those little deaths, all those little deaths. That person you used to be, the way you used to react, the way you used to be so surprised at that thing. That's not who you are anymore, and you're rewiring your brain. So when Taurus rules your eighth house, it's money too. You are being called in this life to get good with money and investments. So something shocking might happen to an investment, like maybe you do online Bitcoin stuff or whatever. Something shocking might happen there, but do know that it is there to liberate you in the end. Put up some Saturnian restrictions and boundaries if need be to really plug it in. On the other side, maybe it's really exciting, like you might win big, on something online, some kind of investment. And so, I would highly recommend, I am not a financial advisor, but I would highly recommend to embrace this Saturnian energy. So if you win big from some kind of investment, lock it in. Saturn is encouraging you big time to put in a boundary and lock it in. So that's like a little side note. Again, not a financial advisor, but I can see it in the stars. What if this is a financial thing for you? You're being asked to put some serious boundaries down on your money. Okay, does Taurus rule your ninth house? It's your spiritual house. It's what do you believe? Do you have any faith? Do you have faith? Your faith might be tested at the time of this full moon, and you might be like, why, God, why? You might have one of those moments. Those are beautiful moments, by the way, and you're allowed. And I've had them before so many times, and maybe I will again in the future. I probably will. when you just say, why is this happening? And your faith will be tested. If Taurus rules your ninth, something shocking might happen if you belong to a church, say, because because the ninth house also rules churches and religions. Something shocking might happen at your church. Something shocking might happen at your university if you're a university student, or if you are a university professor, anything to do with learning and teaching. Something shocking, something surprising. It is there to liberate you, I promise. In the moment, it doesn't feel like liberation. It feels hard and it feels scary, but do know. And again, if this is to do with something at your church or something to do with your faith, it shakes you to the core, and I understand that. And do know that it is meant to liberate you. Ask all the questions, go through those feelings. Order my shadow work and astrology book if this is happening to you. If you're feeling like you don't know where to go for answers, I fully recommend the book because it really helps you look at your stuff, move through it, and then rewire your brain. So your faith might be shaken and tested. Same to do with your learning, your school, your education. You might fail a test, stuff like that, and it might really shake you to the core. It's like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? It will liberate you. Also, ninth house is foreigners and foreign travel. So something might happen with a foreigner, so somebody that's not from your country. Maybe you're dating this perfect guy and he's from so and so country and he goes ahead and dumps you. Do know that that foreigner, the dumping from that foreigner is meant to liberate you. It does not feel like liberation in the moment, but it will liberate you. And then also you might get something might happen when you're on a trip, or you might get an opportunity to go on a trip. All that stuff is there to liberate you. It might be shocking and surprising, but I do encourage all of you, don't lose your head. Put the mirror up in front of your face, take responsibility for who you are, know who you are. I will remind you, you are a spirit having a human experience. Nobody can define you, no matter what they say, no matter what they say you did, no matter what they say you are. Nobody can define you, no matter how many people they have spread the hate about. Don't let it shake your faith. You are a divine human being. You deserve respect. And I would encourage you to put up boundaries. Saturn is stationing direct on the same day as this full moon. Saturn encourages you to put up boundaries, respect limitations, be respectful. Saturn's all about that. So you got this. You got this, Taurus and ninth people. Does Taurus rule your 10th? That's the top of your chart. That is your career chart. It is also your daddy chart, daddy issues. It's also father figure stuff. So not necessarily your dad, but also father issue stuff, definitely. It is also your career. So something shocking, surprising might happen regarding your career. You might get a promotion. You might get a massive demotion as well. And that's okay. It's okay. Either way, you're being liberated. I promise you, whether you get the new title that gives you the CEO or whether you get fired. Either way, I promise you, whatever shock and surprise comes with your career, it is meant to liberate you in the end. Also, Algol is encouraging you not to lose your head. Do not lose your head with your boss. I will encourage you strongly. If Taurus rules your 10th, do not lose your head with your boss, okay? Take a step back, take a deep breath. Don't say the thing to your boss or to your dad or to that father figure or to that CEO type, the boss guy, right? And he's being real bossy and he's losing his head because he doesn't watch videos like this and he doesn't know about astrology. So too bad for him because you do, and you know, oh, I know what he's doing. He's feeling Algol energy and he's using the shadow vibe of the Algol. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the high vibe of that Algol. I'm going to take the mirror. I'm going to take responsibility for myself, blame no one, not even myself. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just zip it and I'm not going to lose my head with my boss or my dad or my father figure or that bossy dude. Nope, nope, nope. I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to encourage boundaries if need be, limitations, restrictions. I'm going to take time. I'm going to be patient. because Saturn turns direct in my 10th house, and it's a good thing, even though it seems really boring and blah. And I just want to do it now. Saturn's encouraging you to be patient and just have some restrictions. Does Taurus rule your 11th? Okay, this is about friendships and groups. So something shocking might happen in your social circle. And maybe they're gossiping real bad about you. And it comes out and you find out, and it's drama with all your friends. And I do not mean to belittle this because boy, oh boy, oh boy, have I been through that. I know all about that. And I do encourage you to put the boundaries up and to stop the gossiping yourself, because if you're being gossiped about tremendously, the only thing you can do is control how you react, how you respond. And I do promise you, if you stop gossiping yourself, you just zip it, right? And when you go out with friends and other people, you just make the commitment to no longer participate in gossip. It's going to change your life. Take it from me. I had to do it. I did it. And it's been extremely liberating. And that's exactly what this whole full moon is suggesting for you, because Uranus shocks and it's surprising, but it does seek to liberate you. Okay, so this is with friendships and groups. It's all like online. Are you part of online groups? Maybe you are a coach, an online coach, and you have groups and memberships, or maybe you're part of that. The 11th house is also not only friends and groups, but it's ruled by Aquarius. It is the Aquarius age. It is where Pluto's going. It is the future. It is all things AI. It is technology. It is groundbreaking research and medical things, and it's the future. I guess it's flying cars, and it's curing cancer, and it's all those things. So something shocking happened to you regarding all those Uranus, Aquarius things I just said. And it might really be surprising to you, but please do know this is meant to liberate you. Don't lose your head. Take responsibility for yourself. Don't involve yourself in any of the hate or any of the drama. And take a step back. Take responsibility for yourself. Blame no one. Don't blame yourself. And encourage yourself to step into boundary work. Put up boundaries with those friends that are no longer serving you. Respect limitations, respect everybody's right to be liberated. Respect everyone. Everyone deserves their own sovereign self to be respected. And so you're no exception, and nor are they. So put up the boundaries, have limitations, take your time, be patient, all that stuff. Don't lose your head. That's what I would encourage you to do if Taurus is in your 11th. And finally, does Taurus rule your 12th? This is the final house. This is the last step. This is where you let go, you let Goddess. This also rules things like hospitals and rehab centers. It's, it is the addictions. There might be something shocking and surprising. You might finally come to the realization, I need to stop drinking, you know? It could also be, someone in your family has said, you know what, I need some help. I'm going to hit rehab. You might also have an intervention. People might sit you down and say, you know what, you need to stop smoking that crack cocaine. You never know. Okay. I judge no one. And I'm saying it might be time to deal with the addictions, and it might be time to let them go. And not even regarding addictions, but just if you have been unable to forgive and to forget, and if you are holding on to so much anger, this is going to hurt. This full moon's going to hurt, because it is literally days later. Pluto's entering Aquarius, and Aquarius is a whole new world. It is heaven on earth if you are willing to go there. And so you really might be encouraged at the time of this full moon to just finally let go and forgive. Stop it, and just stop it. And it doesn't rule you anymore. And isn't that liberating? That is what Uranus is helping you to do. And it might shock you that you finally do let it go and you finally do forgive and you finally get help for your addiction. Because once you do, you will be liberated. You're going to be ready for this new earth that is coming. Pluto and Aquarius, a whole new world. It's where the future is. It's all of these shocking full moons and these conjunctions and the fixed stars, Algol, like all of it. They're all spirit guides helping us to step into the new earth, and it's coming. So something really shocking and surprising might happen regarding letting go, regarding addictions, regarding a hospital. You might have to have a hospital stay, or somebody you know might be in the hospital. Um, it's all there to liberate. It's all there to help you set up the boundaries with Saturn stationing direct that same day. You might need to set some boundaries. You might need to finally listen to limitations. You might need to limit, maybe not even quit. Say you love to drink. Maybe it's not even quitting drinking altogether, but to limit your drinking. Saturn's going to encourage you to limit things, to put boundaries down, to be patient. And the 12th house is all about letting go, letting goddess, forgiveness. So those themes might be coming up for you big time. Okay, we've gone through the house placements. I have told you the mundane astrology on this Taurus full moon, perhaps something like an earthquake on, the collective scale. Not at all trying to be scary, but just keeping it real because Taurus rules Mother Gaia. Uranus rules shocks and surprises. Uranus also rules earthquakes. With Saturn stationing direct the same day in Pisces, Pisces rules waters. There could be floods. Again, not at all trying to be shocking and fear-based, but just letting you know that this full moon packs a punch. Okay. And I went through your house placements. You heard about it. I'm encouraging all of you, no matter where Taurus falls, to embrace the change. It might be shocking and surprising, but embrace the change from Uranus. Don't lose your head with Algol. Take radical responsibility for yourself. Hold that mirror up like Perseus did to save his own life. Do the same for yourself. Remember you're a spirit having a human experience. And also accept the restrictions and the boundaries from Saturn because it's stationing direct the same day. And then just a few days later, we have a whole new Earth happening. Pluto, it's a whole new generation. It's a whole new world. Pluto entering Aquarius just 4 days. So I hope you enjoyed that forecast. I'm going to pull a card for you on this full moon in Taurus. Here it is, 5 of Cups in reverse. Here she is. She's so bored. She's so over it. Look at her. She's so done. It is Ross and Rachel. When they said it is over, they said, we need a new word for, oh, it is so over that I need a new word for over. So I love how I repeat myself in these videos. And that's exactly what she's saying. It's over. Whatever Pluto and Capricorn was teaching you since 2008 is over. And so don't fall into the victim story with this full moon because something might really, really upset you. But it's over. I promise you. That is over. You've got to rewire your brain. I highly recommend my Shadow Work and Astrology book to help you rewire. I walk you through the steps on how do you actually accept that this is how I feel about this thing. Maybe it's embarrassing. Maybe I feel I should be done with those feelings, but I'm not, and that's okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to own it. But how do I own it? And then how do I rewire? Well, my Shadow Work and Astrology book teaches you step by step on how to do that and get out of this. Ross and Rachel, it is so, I'm bored. I'm so bored. I'm so over this. And Pluto has been our spirit guide going through Capricorn, teaching us to get over it too, to forgive, to let go, to let goddess, to help us all usher in this new earth coming in with Pluto and Aquarius, just 4 days after this full moon, it's very much encouraging you to not lose your head. Don't give in to the fear. Don't give in to the gossip and the hate. Just let them believe that about you. Let them say that. Put up a boundary if need be. But know that whatever's happening, you can get out of this dull, bored, over it, and feeling like I don't really have much excitement about tomorrow or this Pluto and Aquarius era. I don't really care. If that's how you're feeling, I encourage you to accept the change that this full moon is bringing, because it's ushering in change for those of us that need it and for those of us that didn't even know we needed it. And we're all getting out of this complacent boredom, over it. And we are all going to be excited about what's coming if we will just accept the change, the limitations from Saturn. Don't lose your head. Remember who you are as a spirit having a human experience in one of the most exciting times in human history. This full moon is no exception. It is extremely exciting. I encourage you to remember that that the moon loves being in Taurus, and all of the shocks and surprises and changes that are ushering in for us are there to liberate us. And on that, I end this video. I hope it has encouraged all of you to move forward and to remember that these planets are our spirit guides. All we have to do is learn how to decode it, and that's what I'm here to do, to serve you. I'm an intuitive astrologer helping you to understand that astrology is a language that all of us can learn. I'm happy to help coach with the cosmos. If you'd like to sign up for a personal reading with me, you'll see that link in there. And my book, I've mentioned quite a few times. It's such a powerful book to help you work through your feelings and emotions, move through them so that you can rewire the brain and usher in all this exciting this new earth that's coming, and the future. Aquarius is the future, and it's time for all of us to embrace this new world. So thank you so much. Can't wait to read your comments. Happy full mooning.